Got the minutes of the last meeting that took place on March 17th.
Motion to approve the minutes is submitted.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Okay,
We're going to do a roll call since,
yep, how many in favor?
Aye.
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 He's abstaining.
Okay, and I
Thanks.
as well. Unanimous, with Babe abstaining. Okay, as far as 81P plans, we have none this week. We have a public meeting to discuss the Section 2.5 intensity of use schedule.
Sir, I can read the notice into the record, if you'd like.
Please.
Tuesday, April 7th, Room 3, Milford Town Hall, 52 Main Street. The Milford Planning Board will, at the time designated, conduct public hearings regarding the following: 7:01 PM, public hearing, application of the Planning Board to amend Section 2.5 intensity of use schedule of the Milford zoning bylaws by adjusting select lot widths to match the minimum lot frontage. The full article of language above items is available for public inspection at the Office of Planning and Engineering, Town Hall, 52 Main Street, Milford, Mass. 01757. The following times: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 to 4:30, Wednesday from 8 to 6, Friday from 8 to 11:30. Interested parties may express their views at the hearing tonight. So we're either going to take a motion to open, or the chairman is going to declare the hearing open.
I think we should declare it open.
Okay. So what we have, sir, as you guys already know, because since we're sponsoring this article, this is to amend the lot widths to match the frontages in the RB district, which is changing to 90, RC is changing to 120, RD to 120, and the IB to 230. Those are the only changes proposed for this article.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, the town planner explained this to us at, I believe, our last meeting, and it just makes infinite sense. It's kind of weird that it hadn't already been pointed out, and I kind of look at myself for that since I served in that seat for a few years. I don't recall if it was out of whack when I served, but.
Well, no, there was a reasoning for it back then.
Then there was.
Yes,
Oh.
and that probably should, in the report to town meeting, the reasoning for that should probably be put in there, that we've adjusted we've now got the, what is it, Rule 21 or whatever?
Rule 22.
Rule 22 that we have added into our bylaw.
Shape
And the
factor.
reasoning for this is you could say moot, is not as critical as it was back during that time when it was originally put into the bylaw.
I feel like I need more explanation. What's the rule of 22?
The whole reasoning for why we did this back in the day was to try
When you say
to,
did this, you mean had the
had the way
widths?
it was
Yeah. Okay.
to make sure that that there weren't pork chop lots. It was the original mechanism to try to minimize the chance of pork chop lots. It didn't totally succeed, but it sort of got there. When we went to the rule of 22, which tries to square off all the sides and goes through a calculation, that whole intent was the newer version of how you got rid of pork chop lots. So the purposing was for that.
Again, what's the rule of 20?
So you take the perimeter and you divide it by the area squared or something like that, and
Yeah.
it has to equal 22, or it has to equal no more than 22 or a minimum of 22.
Right, no more than 22.
Yeah.
But then there's some other pieces to it, so if you have a lot that's much larger, what it does is makes it so that you can't have too much perimeter.
If you have a long,
that you're really-
30-foot to go in, and then
That
all
you're
of a
really
sudden it goes up.
manipulating the perimeter of the lot
Yes.
to come up with some of the
To
land area
square off-
requirements. and-
exactly.
yeah.
That's where it all,
Too much, again, the best word I can come up with is manipulation of the perimeter.
yeah.
Okay.
It works relatively well. If a lot is larger than the minimum lot size, it allows for you to kind of get around that a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah,
which I think makes sense.
because you've got
Because
excess.
you've got
or
excess.
land area.
So, and this is something that I've seen in other towns, not maybe exactly this way, but similar. So
Yeah, that,
with that, which I think does definitely a better job than this does, of, because it takes into account the whole lot.
Right.
So it does that rule of 22 does a better job of
Avoiding the manipulation.
avoiding, yes.
If manipulation
Yes.
is a reasonable word for for what you're speaking of. But Matt, you recommend this, right?
Yes.
Thank you, both of you, for those explanations, and Joe
Any
also.
comments, John?
No, not at all.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board on this?
Do you declare the public hearing closed after asking the public for comment?
Thank you, Matt.
Having nobody here from the public, should be closed.
Okay. Take a motion.
motion to send a favorable recommendation to town meeting?
Second.
Okay, we have a,
With the notes that you provided earlier on,
Yeah, in
yes.
in the report, I mean, as part of our report to town meeting, just make sure that those are in there.
Okay.
However you feel you want to write those up, but
So I'm going to recommend, only because election is today, that Martha withholds her vote, just because, just in case you're not elected, but you are. It's something town council told me to watch out for, just because we're holding this on election day.
Wow.
So, that's, I'm sorry.
That's crazy, because
Yeah.
she's still,
That's just what he told me.
Remember until
until tomorrow.
certified.
Until it's certified.
Certified.
If anybody knows that, it's you, Chris.
Wow, that's
what
a,
certification we're talking to? The first, the second, or the third?
having said that, then we need to strike her vote from the.
yeah, I seconded it also.
Striker second, so it'll be Chris on the second. You still participate in discussion.
And I'm
just
sorry,
not-
town council brought that to your attention?
Yes.
I'm gonna-
I was asking
I'm
if-
going to have a conversation with him.
I didn't even know we were holding this on election day. So I had to
didn't
ask
think
that
of
question. I asked it
Usually
last
we
week.
don't. We-
Right. But there's no rule in our general bylaws against it.
Right.
He just, that's the only thing he cautioned me on.
Oh, my goodness.
So
So,
just need a roll call
Slap in
vote.
the
having a
face.
motion, do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second that one.
Okay. All right, having a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay. Let's take a vote on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Babe? Aye. Okay, aye as well?
I guess I'm abstaining
You're abstained, correct.
with objections. Why am I even here? Oh, brother.
Your opinion is valued by
Oh,
the
brother.
fellow members of the board.
Our next agenda item, we have the amendment to section 2.4.8.
Yes, sir. So Tuesday, April 7th, room 3, Milford Town Hall, 52 Main Street. Milford Planning Board will, at time designated, conduct public hearings regarding the following: 7:02 PM public hearing, application of the planning board to amend section 2.4.8 of the Milford zoning bylaws by removing it entirely and renumbering the bylaw in the absence of this section. Full article and language of the above items is available for public inspection at the Office of Planning and Engineering, Town Hall, 52 Main Street, Milford, Mass. 01757. The following times: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 4:30, Wednesday from 8 to 6, and Friday from 8 to 11:30. Interested parties may express their views here this evening.
Okay, well, then let's open up this meeting also to the public. This amendment.
So, Mr. Chairman, as we discussed previously before sponsoring this article, sending to selectmen, this is the wetland bylaw that was in the zoning bylaws, and since the Conservation Commission has recently updated its own wetland bylaws, there's no need to have this in our zoning bylaws. So this is a matter of really housekeeping, just to remove this from the bylaw, and that would move our shape factor up to 2.4.8 instead of 2.4.9.
So I thought that when Larry used to do this, he would, and not that that's, makes it right or wrong, but he would leave the section as reserved rather than renumbering.
I know we did it for the ADUs because they had stuff that they were waiting on for the AG to get back to them on. So those sections were left intentionally blank. We don't have anything else in our bylaws that's intentionally left blank, so I thought we should just clean this up.
Okay. I don't know what the reason was. I just knew that that was something that he had
Yeah.
done, so.
I know we did it for the ADUs
I
because
don't
he
know if
left
there's-
4 of them blank.
Yeah, there's no other references
No,
to it
I don't.
in the bylaw.
Nope. I don't see any other
I mean,
sections intentionally
well,
left blank.
Sections,
I mean, the following, so the shape, like the shape factor, you're just gonna have to go through and make sure that you, if the shape factor one is changing, just gonna have to check for the references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make sure that,
That's the only one that has to change because it's the end of the section. So,
right, but if that's referenced in another section by the section number, then
see.
you have to change that part of the zoning bylaw as well.
I see.
If it's referenced, that's probably why Larry didn't change. Because of the just in case, it's missed for a reference point of view.
I
see.
can do that. I mean, now, if you go back to when this was originally done, when some of them were originally done and stuff, it was, you could easily miss it. Now you can do an easy search of the Word document and
Right.
see if there's any references to section 2.8 or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
then we can see if it needs to be changed or not. But otherwise, I would say to make it, there's no real reason to reserve them, and I hate to leave it open if we don't have to.
I agree.
Okay, any more comments?
None.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, we're gonna close this meeting.
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing is on the favorable recommendation at town meeting.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. Let's have a vote on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay? Aye. Okay, aye as
I'll
well.
abstain.
I don't think you need to abstain.
Pass.
I don't think I do, I don't, I'm going to have to talk with Brian.
He said to have her abstain?
Yeah. In
Well,
case
yes,
for some
We'd
reason,
have to, I mean, for what he's saying.
So this, excuse me, for Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Matt, this is only with regard to the public hearings?
yes,
Okay, I can vote on other items and talk about them and engage in debate?
absolutely.
Thank you.
But you could always engage in debate. You could debate even what we're doing.
I know, I'm just being a pain in the neck.
Okay, so item number 5, looks like there was a request to continue that to the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we don't need to vote on that, do we?
Yep, motion.
Yeah, okay. It's a pleasure to vote on that.
What was that one, Joe?
Move to continue the site plan application at 225 West Street to April 21st, 2026.
Aye.
I'll second.
Oh, I thought we were already at a
Any
second.
discussion? Take a vote.
Aye.
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 Babe?
He's abstaining.
Yeah, he wasn't at the first one.
Okay, aye as well.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't think he can actually, but.
Okay. Then we have a site plan waiver application for 161 East Main Street, Olympus Gym.
Yes, sir. So usually we get a waiver application and we consider it an amendment to the plan. However, in my opinion, this one fit the true definition of the waiver, and I'll explain. This proposal last year was changed to this property at 161 East Main. Last year, we had an application for a church to go into this site. Okay? The church never ended up going in, so this proposal is for a fitness center. The building commissioner said the same way we're going to calculate this for parking is the same way we did it for the church. So it's just, given that that plan was 1 year old, we submitted that with this waiver application from the applicant. So this one has a shared parking agreement with the property next door, 7 Midway Road. There's a ton of parking over there. The former Dollar General retail use required 63 spaces compared to the previous church sanctuary that required 62. The fitness center calculations Her place of assembly would probably require more than 62 spaces, given wherever the largest area assembly is. Adequate parking is provided via the shared parking agreement with Plains Realty on the adjacent plaza parcel. So I recommend this waiver is approved, as most of the heavy lifting was done by the previous applicant who abandoned the proposal.
I guess I don't remember there being a huge amount of, I mean, I know physically there's a huge amount of parking in the next parcel. I don't remember there being a huge amount over what they're required to have, though.
Right. So, I mean, even though we approved the church for 62 spaces, do we anticipate the gym's going to need 62 spaces?
The I would agree that the place of assembly makes sense for the gym. However, as we did with the other church, it also has to do with the largest assembly space, and I'm pretty certain that that was applicable to this one. That they had to propose an interior wall in order to meet that 60-something spaces.
I mean, I know where you're coming from in terms of, do I think there's a problem, or there would be a problem down there? No. Do I think we need to have in the files exactly what was approved or not approved? So the request for waiver, I have no problem with, but that would be saying, this is what it was based on. Here's the calculation, and here's where we are today. Because when we're gone, and you're gone, and someone else changes it, I want to know what that last calculation was.
Sure.
I mean, that's, I think we're the gatekeeper going forward and stuff, and I want to make sure that a planning board signed a thing that says, this is what's allowed out there now. So I don't see it being an issue. And to be perfectly honest, with this type of use, if it were an issue within the calculation, this is one where the usage of various usages, as they have some amount of use in the bigger plaza as well, they could easily make the calculation and not have to do anything. But I just want to know what that number is and how we got there.
Right. So the calculation for the gym as is would require 120 parking spaces, given this the largest place of assembly, and that's the entire space. That's 120 spaces for a gym is pretty outrageous in my opinion. But, so the 63 that we previously approved was based on 100 square feet of floor space and the largest assembly area. I think they had 6,200 square feet of space that they were proposing to use for their largest assembly area. That's how they came up to the 62 spaces. Now, the gym is probably going to use a lot more than just the large congregate area of the church, so that calculation ends up being twice that.
It's okay if I speak? It's not my turn yet,
Up
right?
to the chairman.
I'm sorry. I've never done this before, so please forgive me.
Yes, please, just
disrespectful.
identify yourself.
My name is Romualdo de Freitas. I'm the person with the gym. I already happen to own a gym in Framingham. We have over 2,000 members in there. And our assembly, when people come to the gym, they come in different times. They never come together at the same time. With 2,000 members, we have never had over 40 cars parked outside. Because it's not a time that we're busy, it's busy throughout the day. And as far as the space, even so we have a very large space there, almost 65% of that space gets occupied by machines and equipment. So in reality, I can never have that many people in there because I don't have the space for them. I'm also a general contractor, so I understand what codes are, and we will obey them and follow what the requirements are. So I just want to bring that out. My goal, I'm building this for my kids. Myself and my two sons are the ones that are going to take care of the gym. And we live in Uxbridge, and our goal is to bring a positive addition to the community, not to create problems.
I don't think this is an issue. I just want to make sure that we lack of a better word, memorialize how we got there, so that if things change downstream, we know what was done as part of the calculation or not. And again, if we can get there somehow, Matt, to work it out, I'm not asking anybody to put in more parking or not, I'm just asking, let's know how we approved it, so when the next person comes in, or trans recycling moves out, we know what we have to set aside and why, and we can redo the calculation for other people, and I think that's important.
I don't think it necessarily has to be done as a place of assembly when you don't have something that's specifically listed.
Right.
You know, there's,
Yeah, I would,
That's part of the issue we have.
yeah, that's the only thing we have?
Yes, that's it.
yeah, but there's something in there that says that the building commissioner or the planning board, I don't remember, it says something about somebody being able to approve otherwise if it's not listed or something.
Yeah, because we've done it, what did we do with?
Spaces.
Yeah, it's right here on the plan.
When we did Gold, and when we did Planet Fitness.
Yeah, because that's what I was
And I don't
thinking.
remember, I mean, Planet Fitness is pretty big. I mean, if that were the case, I don't think they have enough down there.
I wouldn't expect so. It's not now with the car
Not the
wash
color.
gone, with the car wash taken
No,
out.
and he's right, there's, I go there,
So-
so there's like 30, 40 cars.
I just think you need to have, like you said, to just have them work on the numbers so
Yeah.
that they can be on the plan.
I would take a look at both the gym and, I don't know if
So
we
it's
did
showing-
these Golds or the gym,
Oh,
how many
on-
times it came back.
So on the plan, right here, AutoZone 55 spaces, contractor yard, 3.5 spaces per 1,000 square foot of office area, Trans Redemption with their 4 employees, 7.5 spaces. The concrete and mortar packaging, 9.5 spaces, and the religious, obviously, so 62. So I guess, yeah, you're looking for at least this plan to change from, or is it hold the 62, or does it need to change?
If you hold the 60,
Right.
if you
Right.
hold the 62, that's fine, but you just
And it's-
below it, you need to explain how do you,
How the
how did
calculation
you
Right.
get to
done, whether-
62?
Whether it was us
Right.
approving that 62 was the
Right.
right number.
Right.
Or whatever makes that
Yep.
number work. I think
Right.
there's plenty of parking down there. I just want to know how we.
And it's saying there's a total of 134 spaces,
Right.
so obviously if it go by the square footage and they need 120, now we're compromising
Right.
the need, but it doesn't sound like.
Doesn't,
Right.
yeah,
You just-
I don't want
And I-
To back calculate.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
And just memorialize it in the plans. I get that,
Yeah.
right? But I guess, yeah,
Can't we memorialize it in a waiver decision? Instead of asking this applicant
Yes.
to change the plans?
Yes. Oh, no, you're going to need, we've approved,
I think you might have a point.
we've approved, subject to, where someone's given us a new plan and approved the waiver of site plan for that because it was what we determined to be a minor change. I'm pretty sure we've done that along the way. Where we've had, as a matter of fact, I think we've done that numerous times with change of use, where the parking stayed the same, but it was a change of use. They submitted a new plan, showed the new parking calculation, and we approved the waiver of site plan as part of that.
So I think that kind of contradicts the request for the waiver. That sounds like an amended site plan. You're asking someone to submit an amended site plan, and this is a waiver application with the applicant submitting a previously approved plan as part of his waiver application.
I would think that it's reasonable to put that calculation in a memo.
Yeah, I agree.
And
well-
then not change the plan, but that's my,
Yeah, but I think we've done it that way. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Matt, but I believe that's the way we've done it in the past, to be totally honest. That way,
I'm sorry, which way is the way we've done it?
if there's been a change of use, parking stays the same number of parking spaces, but the calculation is different.
Yep.
We've granted the waiver of site plan, but they effectively have submitted a new plan with that calculation.
What
is-
what the uses added up, parking requirements for each use added up versus the number of spaces in the lot.
Yeah.
the only thing with that is this was my objection to it back when we were doing it then, was technically you need to pay an engineer to
Right.
change the parking calculation and restamp the plan. And they're not going to do that for free.
Right,
It's about $10,000 and takes about 4 months now.
yeah.
It should not be that much.
Yeah, it shouldn't, it
And
shouldn't
it
be
shouldn't
that
take
much.
that much, it could take that much
Well,
time.
I spoke with two engineers. Like I said, I'm a general contractor, so I spoke with them.
I would fully expect it to cost at least $2,000.
I was thinking 2 to 3,500.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if it were my,
Yeah, it's-
if it were my stamp, that's probably what I would say.
Correct.
But alas,
Yeah.
it's not.
This is Dale McKinnon's stamp on G&H.
The gym itself, are you planning on having any breakout space for like classes or anything
Yes.
like that?
So we're gonna have a very large locker room.
Yeah.
And if I get, which the engineers say it's okay, we're gonna be able to create rooms on the side where I'm gonna have office, a podcast room. I wanna start podcast with my kids.
that takes-
And on the other side, we're gonna have a fitness room that's very large, sauna and plunge room. So with the entire floor, we're gonna end up having about 6,500 to 7,000 of clear floor to put the equipment.
Okay.
But these machines, they occupy a lot of space. So that's how I don't believe that.
So any other breakout rooms where you'd have a class run by an instructor with multiple individuals, anywhere from 5 to 50 people?
So the class will be able to support 12 to 15 people.
12 to 15?
Yes, the calculation, there's a calculation for it, so
Okay.
that's the most we can do.
Yep.
You said 6,000 square feet?
Off the floor where we're gonna put the
Yeah, that's
machines.
gonna,
So then
that's gonna get you almost exactly back to what you're supposed to
Well,
be
yeah.
at.
So we were at 12,000 with 120, 6,000, cut it in half to 60? Is that?
Yeah. So submit a floor plan that shows that the largest room meets the 6,200.
I might be off, but I have the plans with me though.
And if you have to move a wall a few inches,
It's very large, so I can't tell exactly what it is.
oh, okay.
Give me just 1 second, please.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to change my opinion, because as we continue to go through this, it doesn't come down to us saying, yeah, I think it's okay or not. It needs to be memorialized at the end of the day.
understand.
No,
Because the
but
next
that's-
person that doesn't, no, I'm saying in terms of going through it. I mean, if we have to get a stamp or whatever, we need somehow to memorialize what the decision was and how it was based. Because someone else is going to come in and change the square footage and say, I'm leaving it as a gym, but they're going to open the whole thing up. And then we're going to be sitting here saying, oh, what the hell do we do now? And what do we do? And I don't want that sitting out there.
Great, I think it's reasonable to request, when we got it for the religious, we had to have a site plan that showed what the largest area was. I think it's completely reasonable to ask the same of this applicant and have that in the file. But if the number comes out to be the same for the site plan, there's really,
I got 5,500 for the main floor, and that's before the equipment sits there.
So it's even less than the place of assembly.
so I think that would be my recommend, I think that
Can you send that to me?
Yes, of course, I'll send the entire
if he
plan.
has, if he has the plan, and I don't, and this is just my opinion, and my opinion doesn't mean much in this particular. But I think as long as the calculation is written down and approved by the board, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the plan. I understand that I prefer it on the plan.
Well, this is a question for the board, and they need to make a decision on. Again, this particular one, this particular use, where it is, yeah, I'm not worried about it. What I'm worried about is the next guy that comes in
Setting a
that
precedent.
says, oh, I'm doing this. And you agreed to this, and you didn't have to get a new plan, and I didn't have, so I want to do this. And it becomes that slippery slope, that do we think we can stop it at this?
Yeah.
And if we don't, then we can't let it go. We need a stamped plan. I mean, that's just, to me, that's the bottom line. I'm not trying to
Right.
screw anybody or anything. And like I said, it's not that I'm worried about this one, but I am worried about the next one because I never know what it is.
Right.
And it's amazing how they all know when you do something like this, that they can throw that out in front of you. And I don't know where it goes from here, and
Right.
that's what bothers me.
I just thought this was kind of a unique case where we had a church approved previously, and then the same calculation for the fitness center goes hand in hand with the request that happened 1 year ago.
Well, we need, if that's the way we're going, we need to document it that way and make sure that it's perfectly clear as to why we did this or not.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go down the path, because I don't know what the next, somebody's going to come in and say, well, this is a minor change.
But you're not making any changes to the exterior of the building whatsoever.
No, I know that.
To me, that says you shouldn't have to, if there's already a site plan, why would you, even if there wasn't already a site plan, I'm not sure why you would need a site plan if you're not required to make any changes outside.
Because depending on the use, making no changes to the outside of the building could have a significant effect on what you have to do or not do. I mean, part of the calculation is based on what's in there or not.
All right, if this was,
In the
We're
building.
saying that the church use and the gym use come out to the same number. Someone's going to say, well, these are almost the same when they come through the next time. And we're going to have to,
I still think it needs to be documented, and I think that needs to be part of whatever you're approving, is there's a letter from somebody that says, this is the calculation,
right.
that the board can look at the calculation, just like we're looking at the plan, and say, yep, that calculation is in agreement with our regulations, and there's no, and we agree there's no requirement to make a change, so we are granting a waiver of
so
site plan
is it the
review.
town that's certifying that number then?
It's all-
There's no PE that stamped it?
Number coming from
Slippery slope.
from the concept plan, or the architectural rendering that we're about to get?
We're always agreeing with a calculation. We're not doing a calculation. It sounds to me like this time we're going to be
No.
doing a
No,
calculation.
that's not what I said. I said there needs to be a letter from somebody that's doing the calculation, and you're approving it. It's not a PE. Does it have to be a PE? Or does it have to be an architect? Again, that's a decision.
Figure out the required parking for a particular use? No.
It's really almost more, appropriate for an architect to be doing. And
Oh, an architect-
and
I-
then
sure.
if that's what so if he's making changes to the inside of the building, he's very likely going to have an architect of some sort. So maybe the architect is willing to write the letter that says, this is the
Right, that's-
parking calculation.
No, they said that's a civil engineer, they won't touch it.
They won't touch it. All right, well, then I guess you need a new site plan.
Well, no, if you had that letter from somebody that's, I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it comes down to, does somebody have insurance to back this up? I mean, that's what it comes down to in today's world. And so whether it be an architect, whether it be a registered engineer or whatever, there's somebody that says they professionally have enough level to be able to do that.
So, okay. So he submits me the architectural rendering and it shows 5,500 square feet, presuming that happens. I'm going to write you guys a memo that calculates the parking. I'm going to do that. That's going to come from me.
Yeah.
So if you
In
guys
this
want
case, but we've never done that before.
Yeah, okay.
Never done that.
That's
It's always come on this sheet where there's a stamp of somebody saying, I'm certifying that that's what's on there, not you, not anybody else.
Okay.
That's, every every drawing that you have in there, that's the way all of them are, and that's what we've always done.
Right.
So if there's somebody, not that I think that anybody, who the hell knows if anybody would ever go back and sue anybody over it or not, but there always is a professional stamp on all of them.
Okay.
The department's responsibilities have always been to review it to see if it made reasonable sense, let me say,
Yeah.
per se, but
But it's the department's responsibility also to determine, or it can be coming from both the applicant and the department head, the town planner or town engineer, whichever, to calculate the number of required spaces and compare them to the number of spaces available. I mean, I used to do that.
well, you used to check somebody's.
There were times when, yes, but it required me doing it independently.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
I've been known to go out, the parking lot, it's now Kohl's, I once counted those spaces one by one to make sure that the numbers matched.
Well, we've had, if we really want to get into it, we've had issues where people have given us plans that showed number of parking spaces supposedly surveyed, and it was wrong.
Yeah, I did it in the field to make sure it was right.
It
took a while.
And that may be, that certainly may be, but we've always had the backup of, there has been an engineer's stamp outside of this department that has said, this is what's out there.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with staff, field checking that information and without
Yeah,
an engineered or architectural stamp.
So what we had previously, we had this calculation that showed 62 spaces for 6,200 square feet.
Yeah.
We had a letter from Larry that we got last year that memorialized that in a letter.
Yeah.
Now, if he's given me a plan that's less than 6,200 feet, I don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that that's less. And I get what you're saying, like you want that to come from an engineer, but that's something we could figure out on our own.
Yeah, I'm,
It's just something that you guys, the board members need to decide if they want to see the plan updated or if having something, at least this is the way I see it at this point. The board members need to decide if they want the plan, the site plan revised and updated to reflect the numbers for the architectural of the gym, or if you can grant the site plan waiver and approve it's, I guess, subject to a letter and that architectural. But that letter could be
yeah.
from the property owner.
And I
say.
guess, yeah, that letter should state that the gathering area should not exceed probably 6,000 square feet, because that's where anything above 6,000 square feet starts to exceed the parking usage for that.
The plan needs to show that,
Show
though.
that,
The
right.
architectural plan of the interior, 100%
Show,
needs
yep.
to be part of the package and show that, it needs to dimension out that area.
To show that it goes
What if
down.
we had, at least to have some tie-in, and I would think an architect, if you have architectural plans, would be able to submit to us a letter stating that no assembly area within this rental space or within the
Unit.
within the confines of the gym unit is larger than X.
Right.
And then if we have that letter, we can attach that, then I would at least have something, that limits us going forward where Matt can then say, based on the no larger, X would give you less than 63 parking spaces, there's no change. I think that gets me at least to some level of comfort that we have some backup.
I can get that letter.
Yeah, and my question would be too, then, if you do get that letter, how does that letter get memorialized with the plans itself?
It's
So,
just going to get filed with it at that point.
so if someone, again, in however many years, pulls this file, that letter would be somehow attached to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on board with that
Yeah.
solution. Not a tremendous burden.
But I appreciate it. It's doable and I can work with it. I appreciate you guys very much.
Good idea, good work, Joe.
So having not received that architectural rendering in advance of this meeting, are we suggesting a continuance for 2 weeks so we
No,
can?
no, I'm fine with it. I would say
That's-
that we approve the request for waiver of site plan, subject to the submittal of a letter from an architect showing the maximum area
Of assembly,
of assembly. Largest area of assembly.
not to exceed 6160 square feet, that's what the church had.
Yeah. That would make sense, showing it not to be, that way the number would be less.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
Second.
Okay. Having a motion and seconded, any discussion? Okay.
Aye.
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 Dave? Aye. Aye as well? Okay.
There we go.
You're good.
Thank you guys so much for your help. Appreciate it, guys. God bless you.
I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Thanks, Matthew.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay. The next item of business, we've got zoning bylaw amendments. Any ongoing discussion? Others?
I've got a new one. I think we need a gym use listed in our bylaw.
Oh, my, yeah.
We don't have one, which is shocking.
There's a lot, it's really hard to try to capture all of the types of uses, and they can vary pretty easily. I don't think we've had very many issues with some, stuff outside of retail and restaurant are probably the two most often used. And then beyond that, I mean,
Well, I think if we're looking at that way, and stuff, there probably needs to be something like that for a gym,
Yeah.
just only because and again, it may encompass more areas than just the gym per se, but if the usage has to be, the same thing that we did for a church
Yeah, right.
or something else, then we probably should try to get something in there that would give us another opportunity to say, no, why don't we use this for this particular usage
Right.
type thing.
Yeah. Like a fitness center use with a parking description,
Yeah.
its own separate definition or
I'd like to see
calculation.
it would be interesting to do, spend some time and see what other towns do with that.
Gyms can be so varied, some can be all rooms that have equipment where there's not that much space, floor space for people, you know what I mean, as opposed to gyms that prioritize classes.
Correct.
They're light years different.
Very different,
In terms of the parking demand.
I'll do some research.
Oh, that'd be good.
I've got one update on zoning.
Well, we could, if we had one where you had usage with equipment and had a certain amount of people, you could have another one, for, general assembly or something that's somewhat different. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what other people do with it.
Yeah. I can't think of
don't
another
even-
use where the parking demand could vary that much depending on how the interior space is divided up. Like, other uses seem, and the ones I can think of anyway, are all more straightforward.
Chris, do you have anything?
Yes, so food trucks. Met a couple weeks back, Joe joined us on the food truck discussion. So basically, based on timing and through the conversation, it won't make it onto the warrant for the spring. The hope is to start looking at the fall town warrant, and realistically, probably less from this board and more from probably the select board and the Board of Health. Really, after long discussions and working through it, becomes more of a permitting and less about us from a bylaw standpoint.
Yeah.
Right now, the way that the bylaw is written is that we restrict them. So, and we restrict them from a permanent standpoint. We're looking to hopefully try to allow them, but that to allow them is more from a permitting process, and we're not a permitting board. So therefore, that's why the discussion's going to have to go towards some discussions with the select board and bringing in the building commissioner and again, the Board of Health. So again, us being a board that doesn't submit or take applications for permits and approve permits, it's really not on this board to go down that road.
So, may I, Mr. Chair? So put another way, it's not advised that we create food trucks as a permitted use in the zoning bylaw if the other important boards are not prepared for the licensing process.
Yes, they have to be done hand in hand.
Yes.
But the majority of, more or less, we'll just be taking it out of, we'll just be taking it out of the zoning, really?
I think we're,
But we wouldn't do that
yeah,
until,
we won't touch it at all, but
until.
what the
until
attempt
the
will
others.
be, I think, is for us, it's going to stay in the zoning as it's currently worded, is not allowed, except as permitted under general town bylaws. And then in the general town bylaw, it will say how they're going to be allowed.
Trust me, it's going to be a longer discussion. It's kind of circled around. I've got a lot of notes, and I've got to start reaching out to the other boards to try to kind of paint the whole picture.
I would just be
with it.
curious on how that you could legally say something's not allowed unless it's, is not allowed under zoning, unless it's allowed by something else. I don't,
No, well.
I
yeah.
just, it sounds to me like legally that wouldn't fly, but I'm not a lawyer.
Therein lies the muddiness of it all, and
So-
it is trying to prevent certain aspects of it, but still allow usage, very specific usage, right? So that's where we're trying to find out how to best word it. So it does allow for food trucks to operate, but under strict rules.
They became yeah, it's probably not worth the conversation until we get further in. I mean, part of it becomes, do you eliminate a food truck that is part of say a restaurant wanted to bring in a food truck for a different type of food, and they actually did their site plan to allow for the food truck to be parked there. Do you want to say, no, you can't do that because it's a food truck, or would you allow it if it came as part of a site plan where there was parking based on something for that food truck?
Right.
And it was a use? So that's why it sort of stayed, that we were talking about, maybe it stays in, but we have to make sure of the wording and stuff as opposed to just saying. So there's a bunch of interactions, and then the first idea was that food trucks wouldn't be allowed except if it were for a
Special event.
special event. There was ones, we talked about it being, you wouldn't allow them unless they had an existing, a special event or a common victual license already in hand, and there was all sorts of stuff. So
No, no,
as to how it works out, it's gonna, but it shouldn't be here. It's not a permanent structure. I mean, we gotta
Right,
get it out of here.
and that's, it seems impossible to have the zoning enforcement officer enforcing a food truck that is literally could be moving,
Right.
like, that's just,
Well, that's why I said to John,
just
I said-
ridiculous.
I said, as a zoning enforcement officer, you should want to get this out anyways, because it shouldn't
Right.
be yours, unless the selectmen tell you they want you to do it for whatever other reason as part of their thing. It shouldn't be a zoning issue.
and, I mean, right, the only part of it that belongs in zoning is, well, you can't have a permanent
Correct.
connection, permanent utility connections and blah, 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 like that. But other than that, I agree.
Does this have sufficient momentum with the other boards? I'd hate for this to be a dropped ball.
I have not presented it to the other boards.
Okay,
at this
but I
point in
mean,
time.
this, like, working group, if we could
Well,
call it
the only-
that.
There's been a lot of there's been a lot of different people from different departments
Yep.
collaborating on this.
Yeah, I don't want it to kind of fade out of,
Yeah.
fade off.
It's gonna come down to the board of selectmen, to be
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
honest.
It's faded out over the last couple of weeks from my standpoint, just because of
Overload.
other things going on, yeah, for the paid jobs. But, yeah, exactly, it's kind of important. So, but it has, It just needs to be presented basically to the select board
Yeah.
at this point, and we'll see where the momentum goes from there and what
So-
they have for an appetite for the
Board of Health,
discussion.
Board of Health already issues
Yeah.
permits for them,
Yeah.
which is bizarre in its own
Yeah,
right.
it's kind of
So
bizarre.
it's really the select board, like you said.
So,
and
but
that-
They
who's-
issue them only when the zoning enforcement officer agrees that it meets the exemption of the definition.
Yeah, which is, I mean, to me, that's another thing why it has to be dealt with somehow or some way when we have various people in the town reading the thing and coming up with a difference of opinion as to what it means or doesn't mean. So that's, at a minimum, I guess if it stays the way it is and nobody jumps on board, we as a board, not that I wanted to do this, but we as a board should do something so that the wording as to what people actually want is more clear, because there is a difference of opinion as to what that means or doesn't mean, and that shouldn't be the case.
I just don't want to see it the ball dropped.
I think based on what you just heard here, there's a lot of.
Lot of interest.
Yeah, a lot of interest.
There really is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It truly there is, yeah, so.
It's- okay.
So, and feel free to ask in the next few meetings where we're at, so I'll give you updates.
I will probably do that.
I've got one additional bylaw amendment update. The planners forum that I'm a part of, they started throwing around the ideas of phased construction bylaws. So I'm going to start getting in some examples, and then I'll put something into our language, something for hopefully the fall.
Right? So,
Just want to give you an update on that.
yep. Because I can't believe the car washes. Man, I thought there were other projects that were slow. That thing just
Yeah, it's
amazes me.
setting the precedent.
It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've been to the facilities. There's one down in Falmouth. They're always very nice looking, but geez, I mean, that thing's been going on for a while, and they did quite a bit of work over the winter too. So
Okay, any others?
No, sir.
Okay, go on to the next line item. We've got, do we have any town planner updates?
Right above that, the rules and regulations, town council still hasn't reviewed it yet, so I don't have any updates for us. But as far as town planner updates, I do have one item. This is kind of a separate handout. Joe and I were talking about this about a week ago. So someone from Milton Cat sent us a proposal because they wanted to add I don't know what the sort of tank is, a 3,000-gallon UL 2085 FireGuard AST tank, whatever that is. And they wanted to show it on this little sketch here. Now, so I asked them, is this taking up any parking spaces or going on pervious surface, just changing from pervious to impervious? Their answer was no. So, and there's already some barriers up there for the previous tank, and this one would go in a space that seems to be already protected. So I went back and forth with some town officials, and the fire chief said that they would be adequate vehicle protection and appropriate signage will be needed. I was like, all right. So then I started asking Joe, and I'm like, is this something that we need to see at the planning board or not? So that was my general question. So what does the board think?
Dave has his hand raised. Joe. Mr. Chair. Dave has his hand raised.
Babe? Babe, you want to?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Do you know if someone's related to the Helens in town?
I don't think so.
Oh, no, you have your hand raised on one of the, I don't know why you're up there twice, but,
Oh. I hit my touchscreen, I touched the wrong thing. Yeah.
all right. If you don't have anything to say, then
Moving on.
we'll move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So originally, I looked at this as, it's not taking up parking spaces, it's not changing pervious to impervious, perhaps they don't need to come in. So then I asked Joe about it, and he's like, what about the safety of this? We need to make sure that there's safety aspects and bollards or whatever it's necessary. And so I guess what I'm wondering is, what's already out there, there's 5, what are they, Jersey barriers or K-rails, whatever those are, that block off this spot already. But I think I need to see them in person, just to understand that they're safe enough. But I guess the question is,
Well, I
does
think you
something
need-
like this need to come to us?
I
as-
think you
as
need
an amendment?
dimensions.
Yeah.
So going back to.
Yeah, going back to that's where we got into the conversation. I was pretty much to the point of saying it should come back to us.
Okay.
You know, to me, someone could say, this is an amended site plan, here's what we're gonna do, here's the changes, here's the stamp plan that shows the difference. Yeah, amended, you know, we're not gonna have a meeting, a public meeting on it, it's amended site plan, just, we'll approve it because it doesn't make any other changes, but at least we have that in the file. And
I was going to say, yeah, the submission of the site plan has all the other
again, that way
triggers
we have in
anyways
the
for
file that the
review.
fire chief's gonna say, yeah, meets the safety requirements, or here's what you gotta do to meet the safety requirements. You know, what's he storing in it? Not that it matters to us, it's gonna matter to him. I mean, they're just giving you, that's an underground storage tank, it doesn't say what the materials are
Right.
that's being stored, but, you know, as long as he's comfortable with it, he'll send a letter to us that says, yep, it's okay with me.
Right.
And that way we can say, yeah, it was approved in, as opposed to, well, the planning board never actually really approved that because we thought this was gonna happen.
Okay.
You're making a change to the you're making a change to the
Change to the
exterior.
site.
Right.
Yeah.
That's,
That's why I was asking, because it wasn't taking up parking space, and
Yeah.
it wasn't taking up impervious surface, so I figured I'd ask the board. So I'll tell them that they need an amended plan.
Yeah.
All right. I also got a new application today for a propane storage on 31 Beaver Street. And I was like, amended plan, because they didn't show where it was. They didn't show me, like, if it's going to be taking up pervious. It's definitely within the buffer zone, so they need to go for
yeah,
amended
no,
order, so,
I told them that they needed,
yeah.
it was,
Wow.
So that one's
it may
definitely
be
coming.
fine from the conservation, but that's what I said. I'm like, I need to see it on a plan
Right.
before I can
Yep.
tell you if you need to file an amendment with
Well, and we, yeah, in those, yeah. those become-
conservation.
Well, I
but
mean,
with
for us, that becomes critical too.
100%,
is-
that
yeah.
needs to be,
So when they put it in the wrong spot, we can say, hey, that isn't what you said it was gonna
yeah,
be.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that one was an easy one.
On board.
Okay. That is the only update I have.
Okay. Town engineer updates?
I have nothing.
Chairman updates? Babe, you have anything? No, I don't either.
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay.
Good to see you, sir.
Great to be here, Maureen.
Any member updates? Chris? Joe?
Hope to be here at at our next meeting.
Yeah, exactly. I will not be at the next meeting, just as a,
Okay.
Okay.
Not impossible, I guess.
It's not impossible, but
All right.
that'd be a kick in the pants, wouldn't it?
Our next meeting will be April 21st. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Bye.
Aye as well. Thank you. See you on the 21st.
See you then.
Joe.